Good afternoon, one and all present here. So I am here to introduce Ms. Yamini Rajgopal, who is the first speaker for today. So ma'am is a mental health professional with over 4 years of experience in counseling, rehabilitation and training. She is trained in contemporary psychotherapies and in remedial education. At present, she is the head of department of social work at Mar Gregorius College, Chennai, and is also a consultant counselor and psychotherapist at WOW. He also has experience of working as a psychiatric social worker and counselor. He has also worked as a projector coordinator for Children Welfare Committee and has also worked as a remedial teacher. He has strong knowledge of psychology and counseling theory and is also skilled in MSE administration and clinical diagnosis. He also has certificates in graphology and special education. Ma'am, we are lucky to have you with us today and we are eagerly waiting to hear you. Over to you, ma'am.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you for the introduction. So we'll start with psychiatry. I mean, what is mental illness? Basically, when there is an absence of health, when there is, when your health is deteriorating, we call it as illness. Everybody go to doctors, right? Once in a while, we all go to doctors. So why do we go to doctors? Because when you find some signs in your body, then you think it is not all right to stay with that, and then we go to the doctor. Now, when you go to the doctor checks for symptoms. Say, for example, you have fever. So you just feel cold. You just don't. You cannot be without a blanket, and then you understand it is some kind of a sign that you are not all right. So immediately go to the doctor. The doctor immediately checks for symptoms. All right. What are the symptoms a doctor would check if you have a fever? He will check for temperature. There is a protocol according to WHO. It's a certain percentage of temperature is okay, and something that is going beyond it, then it is an illness. Immediately he starts giving you tablets. So that is one of the symptoms he checks. He also checks if there is a condition which is along with the fever, that is, do you have cold, do you have chest pain? So he checks with everything. He checks for all the symptoms to understand what kind of fever it is, right? And only when he understands the symptoms of the illness, then it is easy for him to bring you back to good health. Now, the same way, where for our mental health, only when we try to understand the client's or the patient's symptoms, when they come with a sign, or when you see a person with a sign, when you try to understand the symptoms, then it is easy for you to help them come out of their illness to get good mental health. Okay. Now, everybody has this, picture in their mind. It is also a prejudice in most of the places with most of the people. Psychiatry is a term used at asylum. Psychiatric patients are patients who cannot, come out of their illness. Psychiatric word itself, if you use, you would not get work, you would not get married, you cannot have good friendship, a social circle. So it is better I keep my mouth shut, so that I don't get into that label called I'm a psychiatric patient or a client, right? But I will today what I would do is I would just break what is mental illness and how easy it is to get cured. All right. So just for you guys to understand, I just wrote this so that let us keep this screen, and we will see how to learn about this. See, there is only one thing called neuroscience. Neuroscience is nothing. It is a study that they work with the structure of the brain and nerves. All right, they deal with that. The branch of study is about the structure of the nerves and brain. Under that comes psychiatry. So what is psychiatry? It is nothing. Psych means Psych, psyche. Psyche means nothing but mind. It is all about how good, how healthy your mind is. And then if it is called as psychiatry, it is a branch of medicine as it comes under MBBS. It is a branch of medicine which deals with mental disorders and with nervous systems and brain. Now, why do we call it as a disorder, or why would we call it as illness? Now, again, there is a confusion here, right? So, illness is a sociological term. That is, in our society, we all use, oh, she has fever, she has an illness, she has a mental illness, right? But then when it comes to the medical term, when it, along with the doctors, when you work with them, they call it a disorder. It is a medical term. Now you understand the meaning between illness and disorder. Illness is a sociological term. Disorder is a medical term. Under neuroscience comes psychiatry, which works with the brain, where we start learning about the brain, and we try to help people to have a more healthy mindset. All right. Now, in this picture, which I had shared, there is something called mental illness, which is written, right? So what all comes under mental illness? See, when you understand this spectrum, the spectrums which come under mental illness, this is what you're going to work with, which you would see in people. Everybody would go through certain aspects in whatever we are going to see now, right? So when anybody asks you, or if you have to explain anybody about mental illness, you just need to say it is only about the 5 spectrums which comes under mental illness. Now we will see what are the 5 spectrums. We will categorize it. We will see in detail. The first one is called neurosis. Neurosis is nothing but it is something we all go through in every day, every minute. Say for example, half an hour back when I was getting ready for this meeting, I was a little anxious. I was a little nervous. And now I'm I'm getting comfortable, right? And from morning when I was thinking of, preparing for the notes, then I was thinking a lot, and then I was a little stressed. Now, these are the words I used, right? Comfortable, stress, anxious, anxiety. Now, when you ask a person, when they say I am anxious, I'm really tensed, I'm really worried. When they have these gestures, and when they say I'm anxious, you need to ask them. You need to understand: do they have a cause for it? Do they have a reason for it? Yeah, I was anxious because I had a session to take, a conduct. I was stressed out because I was taking notes. I didn't want to leave any note, any particular topic. So I was really stressed in getting all the notes from my previous work. Now I have a reason for what I am going through. That is stress. It can be stress, depression, anxiety, panic attack. When you see a friend who stop talking, suddenly when you're walking on the road, when you see that person, there's a panic attack in your heart. Oh my God, will that person look at me? Will that person talk to me? Will that person show a long face and leave me and go? So there is an attack immediately that comes into your mind, right? And then there is phobia, fear of water, fear of heights. When you ask, oh my God, you ask some people to come join you for swimming, they say, oh my God, I cannot step into the water. I will be like dead. So that is the fear they have towards water. So that is called phobia. And then there is something called acute stress disorder. They cannot just take any work. They cannot take responsibility or something that is being, imposed on them immediately without even asking them for their consent. That stress they cannot take. So these are the words which we use in our day-to-day life. And when you know the reason, when you have an insight, because of this, I am going through this. I am upset today. Why? My mom scolded me last night and she never spoke to me till now. Then there is a reason for you to be upset. Then it is called neurosis. So there are 2 words which you need to be very sure. And, even when you're asleep and people wake you up and ask you about what neurosis is, I have insight about what is going on inside me, what is making me go through this emotion or this phase. That is called insight. So when I have insight, it is curable. Anything that you have insight, it is curable. All right. So if anybody asks you, is neurosis curable? You say, yes, it is curable. And they do have insight. But again, you can also ask me, Ma'am, there are so many people who have anxiety and who are taking tablets. Why is that? Right. There are so many people who have very mild depression and still they take tablets. They depend on tablets, pharmacology. Why? Right. So people who are able to handle their anxiety alongside, if they are going for counseling, if they are able to talk to people about what is making them anxious, then it is easy for them to get rid of that anxiety. If it is prolonging for more than 6 months, anything that is prolonging for more than 6 months, which you are not able to cope with, then medicines do help you relax yourself or come out of that phase. All right. So if people ask you what is neurosis, it is people will, those people who are going through some neurotic conditions like anxiety, depression, uh, acute stress disorder, panic, phobia, then general anxiety disorder, then it is curable. They have insight because of what, why they are going through that phase, and it is curable. See, anytime, anything that you are aware of, what is that is making you go through certain phase, certain conditions, certain situation. When you are aware, it is easy to come out of it, right? Now there is a candle with a burning candle. You know, you go touch it, you get hurt, you get burnt. Okay, then you when and you are upset about it. You come and ask someone, somebody is coming, hey, you sad because I got hurt. Okay, and when they ask you why did you get hurt, you would say because there was a candle. I thought it would. I will just go near that fire, but then I thought it would not hurt me. But then I just touched it without my knowledge, so I got hurt. Now you have a reason. You know what made this hurt, and you are sad about it, right? Then it is. They would immediately tell it's all right. It is just you can just apply some ointment. You'll be fine. Don't worry. Next time, just be careful. There are also people who will talk to you like that, right? And it is easy for you to come out of your neurotic conditions because you have the insight what made this hurt, and because of this hurt you are sad that your finger is burnt. So this condition, this insight would help you cure. So next time you will be aware of it, you would not get into that same situation again. When there is an insight, there is always a curable situation. Hope I am clear. Can you just message me a yes, no, maybe?
Yes, ma'am, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Now comes the second word in the same picture, that is called psychosis. Something that everybody calls everybody. He's a psycho, man. He just hurt her. She's a psycho. She can just not keep quiet, and she yells at everybody like that. So these terms are just casually used in our household, in our houses, within our friends, peer groups, within society. Well, psychosis is something you need to know who should be called a psychosis in the medical term. Not everybody whom you see in this world, you just can't label them, you just can't call them with names. We need to understand that. I will get back to you on that. Now, on psychosis, in India, definitely we all would have seen people who are sitting on the roads, right? We have seen them with shabby clothes, not taking bath. They are just in their own world, not in touch with reality. They can just stay on roads or any places without eating, or they would be doing some bizarre actions. Bizarre actions is something that we would not do often, just raising their hands like this and just staring at someone. Some actions like this. We had seen these kind of people. If you go talk to them, if you go ask them, on the roads or in any psychiatric care hospital before they could start their treatment, if you go talk to them, if you ask them, why are you sitting like this? Or why are you talking to yourself? If you go ask them, you know what they will say? They will say, no, I'm not talking to anyone. No, I'm just trying to touch that. Nothing else. No, I'm fine. They will say, I am fine. They will be, there will be some self-love. They will be talking, they will be laughing within themselves. Immediately you go, they will just see like, what is it? What is it you want? And when you ask, no, I saw you laughing. Why thinking of something, you can also share with me. I was not talking to anyone. I was not laughing at all. What are you even saying? Then this is called, there is no insight. Only when the person has insight, it is easy for the person to explain what they are going through. There is no reality phase at all because they are already crossed the reality phase. That's why it's very hard for them to explain what they're actually going through. This is where a mental health professional or a psychiatric doctor, what they would do is look for the symptoms so that they will understand what kind of illness they are going through, what kind of disorder they are going through, and they give tablets, medications, and other holistic healing work, you know, for them to get back to reality. But then, once you get back to reality, what happens? 7 days, this person is taking tablet. The person whom you saw, you found he's very disoriented. Disoriented is he's not able to understand anything. You go ask him for date. What is today's date? He doesn't know the date. You are asking what is the time. He doesn't know how to look at the time. So he's not in his reality. So you take him to a doctor. The doctor understands he has a condition. He writes a tablet. 7 days he takes, 10 days he takes, he gets back to normality. He knows where his family is. He knows where his peers are, what he was doing, everything he knows. Now suddenly he will ask you, I am all right. Why should I take tablets? Why should I take medicines? And though you explain, he would say, I am all right. I am fine. Because he started taking tablets when he was not in touch with the real world, right? He never had an insight that he was going through a condition. Now, this is the time they will stop taking tablets, and there are lots of possibilities and chances that the person would go through a relapse. That is again condition reoccurring. Okay, that is why psychosis, there is no insight and it is treatable. It is not curable. Now we understand the difference between neurosis and psychosis. Neurosis, if anybody in your sleep, if they wake you up and if they ask you, what is neurosis? You just have to say 2 words. Oh, neurotic people, they have insight and it's curable. They just have to be open to talk about it. That's all. And if it's about psychosis, all you need to say is they don't have insight and it is only treatable. There can be relapses. There may be relapses. You understand the 2 sectors now? All right. Now the third one, what I have written is substance and alcohol abuse disorder. All right. Now, we cannot the people in a very judging mode that, oh my God, that person is taking alcohol. He cannot be my friend. She cannot be my friend. Or they're taking some kind of a substance and I cannot talk to them. So once you start avoiding them, they all form another group, another society, and then they just live their life. Now, with this substance and alcohol, I would want you guys to understand, want you all to understand, it is only cultural based. It's a normal it's a very normal in the Western culture, right? Even if you go to the Western culture, they will offer you, right? So all you need to know is the amount of alcohol you consume in a week that is not exceeding the WHO norm. Anything that is under control, that is good for your mental health. But when people start using alcohol, why do people start getting addicted and then get abused by alcohol and substance abuse? Because when they are not able to cope with their normal stressors of life, they need, that void is already there. There is a void. The void is, there is a hole or a space that is not able to be covered by them, because they are not strong enough to face it. They're not they don't see their potential they are not able to see, so they are just thinking it is something they have to go through, it's a curse. They have a lot of prejudice inside about themselves, inside their mind, and not to show that outside. They think something else can come and fill that void, that space. Also one of the reasons for alcohol and substance abuse. Another is genetic. It is also genetic. If the parents had alcohol or substance, then there are chances for the child to get into that disorder, right? Like intake of alcohol can exceed more than the limit, and substance also. See, there are countries like America and Canada where substance, certain kind of substance even the cops can take just for the betterment of the mental health. You know why? When you go talk to, I had spoken to many of my clients when they come to me for, after the substance thing, when their family finds out, they'll bring to the psychiatric hospital immediately to save our son, save our daughter. They are already into, we don't want them to be with this. Now, you know what they will say? They'll ask us to Google. They'll say, you know what? If you have substance, nothing would get affected. All the body parts would be like perfectly fine. You don't get cancer. You don't get that. You don't get this. You will be having a healthy life. Why should I stop? They will come and ask you like that. They will rationalize in such a way. Even the alcohol people, they'll come and, they will rationalize for their behavior. Because my pet died today, I had to drink. Because my girlfriend didn't talk to me, I had to drink. Because my business partner cheated on me, I'm still not able to recover from that, so I'm drinking. They can rationalize with whatever situations, because they're not able to handle it. This is the reason for them to drink, right? Now, all I tell them is, for the substance thing, all I tell them is, it will not affect anything. It will just alter your brain activities. Okay? And slowly the insight would go down. All right? This is one of the reasons the productivity would go down. They may either become like super grandiose, or they may become so low. Okay? It can get them into any extent. So, substance is something that would not affect your body, but the mind. People don't want to get that insight, because if they get that insight, it becomes very hard for them to come out of it, right? So, this is also something that it is very hard for people to come out of alcohol and substance when they are addicted or abused by that. Okay. Now comes organic disorder. What is organic? Every time when there is a new set of people, even me, guys, when I was studying, when my mentor asked me what organic is, I didn't know, and few of my friends were telling, is it something related to organic farming? So that is a very normal way of understanding what organic is. Organic is a very delicate matter. Which is the delicate matter which we have in our body? Our brain, the gray matter, right? So organic disorder is something that needs to be protected. Organic is something that needs to be protected and taken care. Just like our organic farming, or natural way of living life. Without tablets, without medications, if you live healthy, that is the blessed way of living, right? And we are all working towards it. We are all trying to understand how would I get that life or the way of living. In that, organic is also one of the, hello? In that, organic is also one of the important aspects where you need to understand how to take care of brain, so that you don't get into any disorder. There are certain things I would like to talk about organic. What are the kind of disorders you would get is delirium. One is delirium. What is delirium? Have you observed or seen, or in your family or in your peer group, there may be people who are drunkard. They drink continuously, and they would have become we also call them alcoholic, because they consume more than what they need to, right? They black out. That is, they go to sleep today morning, and then they wake up the next day evening, and they will be like, oh my God, I'm getting headache, I'll go drink again. To these kind of people, slowly, if they ask them to withdraw from once they start withdrawing from the alcohol abuse thing, or after they black out, that is after they sleep, they rest, and they wake up. If you ask about their age, certain things that they did before the alcohol intake, they will not remember. They'll be so confused. What day is today? Is it 30th or 1st? Where am I? Is it the second floor or the third floor? They get confused. Okay. And they will not be sure. They cannot even say anything confidently. Okay. So the confusion in the brain is called delirium. Typically, dementia. Dementia is forgetfulness. Forgetting. Memories are getting forgotten. So when you ask for phone number, it would be very hard for them to recollect and tell you. If you ask for an address, if you ask for a direction, it becomes very hard for them to tell. So there is also forgetting behavior in dementia. Now there is only a slight the difference between delirium and dementia. Delirium is only for a very short term. Okay, once a person recovers completely, it is gone. After 2-3 days, if he doesn't drink, he gets back to normalcy. But dementia, once they forget, yeah, slowly you can help them, recollect and get things, to back to their memories. But the next step, next phase, that is Alzheimer's disease, once they forget, they forget. You can only arrest from where they have stopped through medicines. And whatever memory is lost is lost. They cannot get it back. That is why our mind, the brain is very important. And you also get convulsions. What are convulsions? You see people with fits, with seizures. They just fall down. They just get some seizures where they don't remember anything. After waking up, they will say, "I don't remember what happened." That is also something, the nerves connected to the brain. So organic disorder also has a lot of importance, that your mental health need to be good. If you have an organic disorder, then it becomes very hard for you to arrest everything and get back your mental health. Okay, so mainly old age people would go through organic disorder, and people who have got into head injuries, head accidents. That's why they always ask you to wear a helmet, because see, even if a hand goes, leg goes, that is different story. You can always cope with life. But when, hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Am I
Please go
Yeah,
ahead.
okay,
ma'am,
okay.
you are audible.
So, but then, yeah. Okay. But when your mental health is gone, it is very hard. That's why they say always wear a helmet, take care of your health, take care of your mental health. Because when there is no insight, when everything is forgotten, it is the very saddest thing one could ever go through. That's why old people, we need to take care of them. We need to always be there for them. See people, those are the old parents who are above 60. One day they will do something, next day they will forget. We get irritated looking at them. Why did you do that? Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. We immediately get irritated, not understanding. There may be chances that they are forgetting because they're becoming old. We need to understand, be compassionate to them, be very loving to them. So organic disorder is very important. Under organic disorder comes mental retardation. That is also one main aspect which comes under mental illness. What is retardation? Retardation means stop. Growth is stopped. Your mental growth is stopped. That is called retardation. There are four categories where you say which comes under mental retardation. One is mild, where people are able to take care of them to an extent. Then moderate, where they need they need some dependency with their caretakers. Then mild, moderate, then severe, where they need to have administered by some caretaker all the time. Profound, they are totally challenged, physically challenged, mentally challenged. They have to be with people. That intellectual disability is gone, then they are always dependent on people. So that is also very important to take care. That happens because of breaching of the baby. When the baby doesn't comes out, they breach and they take the baby out. When the mom has HIV infected mom, when she gives birth, there are chances for the child to be a mentally retarded child. Or when there is even after postnatal, that is after the baby is born. Perinatal is during the birth alone. When you try to breach the baby, certain brain cells are dead. That is why when the brain cells are developing, brain cells are dead. When you take the baby out, the growth is stopped. So they become an MR child. And then postnatal, as in after the birth, when there are three major conditions for the child to have mental retardation. One is malnutrition, where the child is not given proper nutrition food, and there is a head injury. That's why they say be very careful when you are having a baby in your tummy. Don't get hurt anywhere. Walk slowly, walk carefully. The head injury, even the mom could just get hit in the table like that, but then it affects the baby is very sensitive. The fetal is very sensitive, that it may get affected in any ways. That's why we need to be very careful. and then any fever or disease that the child gets after being born. So we need to be very careful. These are also the reasons, I'm telling, these are also the reasons that may be the cause for a child becoming mentally retarded. All right. Now we'll go to the next spectrum, that is personality disorder. So personality disorder is, if you ask me, ma'am, do you have a solution for neurosis? I would say yes. You go for counseling, you give them alternative therapies, and then you also give medications if needed. Like I said, anxiety for more than 6 months, yeah, you give them medications, yes. Now psychosis, yes, there is, you can give them therapies like cognitive behavior therapy along with pharmacology, that is medicines, psychopharmacology medicines, and then holistic healing. Yeah, we can definitely heal them, help them. Organic disorder, mental retardation, yes, unfortunately we cannot help the child, but then we can help the child with some OT to become independent, because after their caretakers, if there is nobody to take care of the child, at least for the child to take care of her daily needs, like brushing, self-care, brushing, taking bath, cleaning private part. So for that, we can train the child, right? So to that extent, we can work on the MR children. And organic disorder, all we can do, if they're old people, we can care for them, we can understand, we can psychoeducate. What is psychoeducation? Give that insight to the caregivers. You see, there is a client who comes and tells me, ma'am, you know what, my mom is like always forgetting everything, it's so annoying, I think I should just put her in some old age home. No, you give them the picture about what is she going through. It can happen to anyone, it can happen to me, it can happen to you, it can happen to your child in the future. Only when you are compassionate now, then someone would also do that to you. This is how you help everybody grow, understand, learn. The ripple effect goes like this. So organic disorder is psychoeducating the caretaker so that they will make sure the person is at home with proper medication, so that they can calm down, they can calm themselves, and they can the caregiver memory is not lost much. Delirium also, you can help them understand that this is because of the excessive consuming of alcohol. And alcohol and substance abuse is, again, it is something we can work on. You just need to understand the root cause of what is making the person drink. Maybe alongside with medications and some rehabilitations, the person would be able to come out of it. All right. Now, the last one is the personality disorder. Now, if you ask me, ma'am, everybody says, oh my God, look at the personality, look at the character. It's easy for us to just judge, assassinate a character, right? Yeah. We have some insight about what, if say, for example, we're all standing in the traffic, we are all standing for the traffic signal light to go green. So we're all standing in the line. There is one bike which just comes and he just crosses, even when the signal is red, he just tries to trespass past it and go. All right. Now, that behavior, we know it is not appreciable, right? But then if you go and tell him, he will give you reasons. You know what he will tell you? He will tell you, I had some work to do. Just waiting for this and all is like stupid, idiotic thing to do. I have the smartness to go like that, so I'm going. What is your problem? I'm doing it in a right way, not hurting others. What is your problem? They just talk like this and they will leave. Now, a person who is saying that I am okay all the time, I am right all the time, it becomes very hard for you to change that person. If you say there are certain therapies which would help you understand that you need to wait in the signal, you can be a little more patient, you don't have to show this, you are doing something that the society would not appreciate, that is anti-social, right? So if you tell them, they will not understand. So there is no cure for personality disorder as such. There are people, we all have the personality in some extent. There are people who don't like us, who don't really encourage us in certain things. We also know certain things are a little irritating, but we still do because of some pleasure thing. It's okay. But something that is making you dysfunctional, something that is making you dysfunctional, something that is not, that is helping, that is making you hurt others, then we need to see what can be changed within our self. That is called a personality. All right. From the I would always ask my students to watch this movie Spider, which came in Telugu, and then it also was a remake and dubbed in many regional languages. Spider, Mahesh Babu's movie. It shows the villain. No, he shows a clear. They show a clear picture of how it starts. It's from the womb, where the child, what kind of environment the child sees. See, have you seen in your house? I mean, in your neighbor's house, and when there is a small child, like 9-year-old child, if the mom keeps the hand folded and drinks coffee like this, the child will also do that. If the mom has a habit of praying at morning 5 o'clock, the child will also wake up at 5 o'clock, sit next to the mom and pray. Even in our house, we do certain things that our parents, our grandparents do. And the ambience, how they speak, what is happiness for your family, that matters the most. But again, that may be a problem for another family. So are you able to adjust? Are you able to cope with that? Adjusting is a very it is very hard for them to adjust in the society. That is where they are either isolated or they don't go for job. They will always rationalize their behavior. Rationalizing is they always talk what is right for them, why they are doing this, because of this only I'm doing, I'm right, what is my problem, this is the attitude they will have. So those kind of personality issues, then you cannot change them, you cannot cure them until they voluntarily come and ask you for help. I think I'm losing all my friends. I don't know what is happening to me. Can you help me? Can you tell me what I should do for me to change? There are people who with some PDs, like personality disorders, who have slowly, where I've seen changes in them. Same ways, only when they are willing to. If they always say I am okay, then it becomes hard. I would like to tell a story on this. It's a very short story. Do we have time? Do we have time?
Yes,
Like
ma'am.
5 minutes? Yeah. Okay. So there was this fellow. Let's call him. Okay, A. We'll call him A. So this person A was traveling. He wanted to explore the world. He got into his boat and he was traveling in the boat. Okay, exploring. And slowly, what happened? He didn't to his land. And he didn't know what to do. Slowly, he tried to understand the directions, and he saw a mountain a little further from where he was. So he went towards the direction, and he got into the land. He tied his boat, and then when he walked, he started exploring for his survival. He took some fruits, and he started eating, and slowly he started climbing the mountain. When he went to the cliff, he started, see, people want to survive. So we will try to understand what is there for me to survive. That is very important. Castaway is one good movie, I would say, where the person wanted to survive, would do anything. So he slowly climbed the mountain. He went to the mountain cliff. And once he went to the mountain cliff, he saw on the other side of the mountain, he was very happy there was a community. He saw some houses, he saw people there. He immediately went down, he told what happened to him, and he said he lost track and he doesn't know whether he can go back. He wanted to stay here. The community was so welcoming, they were all very happy with him. They said, you can definitely be a part of a community, don't worry. So he started working, being with them, having all the entertainments, and he was having this life, living his life. As A was, an adult, he fell in love with a girl also in the community. And then he went and properly asked for a proposal. And the father of the girl, he was very happy because his behavior, his gestures, everything was good when he was there. So they said, we are all happy with you. We don't mind getting our daughter married to you. So we'll go to the village head, and then once he approves, everything is fine. The old people in your villages or in your native, when you have your old grandparents, great grandparents in your house, once you go near them, they cannot see you, right? They will try touching you. How are you? Come near, sit next to me. They will touch you. So this old person in the village, that village head, he asked A to come and sit next to him, and he was touching. He said, I think he must be a handsome guy. I mean, he looks good. So I think he must be the perfect pair for a girl. Then he was very happy. Slowly he said, but just one thing, boy, your eyes are open. We need to stitch your eyelids. He was shocked. He said, what are you even saying? Then the village head said, look, in our village, everybody's eyes are closed and we are still functioning well. Your eyes are open. So to be a part of a community, your eyelids should be closed. He said, are you crazy, old man? You don't know how beautiful this world is. Just guys need to open your eyes and see. No, then, the whole village, what they said? We are okay. We are all right. You are not all right. And then, do you think he can still survive in the group? I guess I had given you a picture about what mental illness, how people can actually go for help, seek help, and even if they are not able to, if you find them psychotic, then you know how to go, give them help, arrange help, right? And when there is insight and when it is curable, then it is neurosis. When there is no insight, when it is only treatable, it is psychosis. And when slowly, when we all lose, I mean, when certain people, when they lose touch with reality, and when they are not taking care of themselves, they are not able to see, self-care is poor, becoming poor, deteriorating. When they're isolating or they're not going out much with their friends, then you need to immediately intervene. Intervene meaning help, intervention, help. Immediately you need to intervene. Instead of saying, oh my God, he doesn't even know to take bath, he doesn't even have friends, why should I be friends with him? No, that cannot be the attitude. We can change our mindset to help everybody become healthy mentally. And we all can become healthy by helping others. I hope I gave a gist of what mental illness, how the symptoms would come, and what kind of treatments, or how to help them in getting treatments. Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, now you can ask your questions if you have any.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
How to become aware of the reasons of our anxiety? Like you said, for like in neurosis, we are aware of our problems, of why we are anxious or why we are having panic attacks. So how to
Mm-hmm.
become more aware of our thoughts and of our feelings?
All right. So from the moment you get up in the morning, we almost go through. We almost have 60,000 thoughts before we go to sleep. This is a statistically proven research. Okay. So every thought would give you a different emotion. All right. So we all want to have happy emotions all the time. So we always focus on the negative emotions. Oh my God, I should not be sad today. Oh my God, I should not be angry today. Oh my God, I should not be upset today. So you focus more on the negative emotions. Slowly it is easy. Even the normal. See, now I'm very comfortable with your group. Okay, now I'm smiling. But before this, I was just little anxious. Sweating. I was sweating and all. Now I just need to tell myself it is just a phase. It is just a situation. Tell yourself that. See, you just have to reflect on yourself. See, even okay, like for teenage girls, for early adult girls or men, boys, or for anyone who's seeing someone whom you don't want to see, who had broken your heart, or you are out of a company and you are seeing your ex-boss, okay, you immediately become anxious. What will they think of me? What am I wearing? How will he look at me? So many thoughts running in your mind and you become anxious. Oh, he should not look at me like this. She should not look at me when I'm doing this. Yeah. So what? See, now, if you look at it from another angle, we are already thinking what that person would think. I was already anxious. What you guys will think looking at me or the way I present. But once I was comfortable, now I'm only focusing on myself. Am I conveying it clearly? Am I being a little patient in conveying? Am I running too fast? So when you start focusing on yourself, that awareness from within, when you're focusing more on yourself, that when you give your awareness to yourself, I think that is something that will rule out many of the neurotic conditions.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, welcome.
Anyone
Any other
else?
question?
Yeah.
Actually, I have another question.
Yes.
In a psychosis situation, is
Mhm.
it the denial or unawareness of the particular situation in
Oh,
that
sorry.
person?
Yeah, I forgot to inform you about this, guys. I'm so sorry. So psychosis, see, if the neurosis prolongs for a longer time, slowly the person becomes so negative, like he cannot face the world. Okay, say for example, I have low self-esteem already because I have poor marks. I don't have a job at this age. Okay, so I don't want to meet my friends. So when I meet my friends, when they're laughing, standing there and laughing, I would think maybe they're laughing at me. Maybe I should not go out at all. Maybe I'm not worthy enough to live in this world. See, this can lead to suicide. This can lead to self isolation. All right, and this prolongs for a longer time. Then they will not know what really is happening to them. If you ask them what is the situation, they say, I'm all right, don't come to me, I'm happy in my house, don't come to me. So this is also one reason. Another one is biological. If there is genetically someone who's affected in your family, that is also a chance. Another one is chemical imbalance. That is why medications are very important in psychosis. It is not just that they don't have insight. It is because of the chemical imbalance also. But then there is, see, it's something which for me, which I tell my students or people whom I know, though it is chemical imbalance, when you are positive enough, you know how to balance your emotion, balance your hormones, right? When the hormones go down, drops down, then it doesn't know how to connect. The brain doesn't know how to connect and look everything properly. That's why schizophrenia, psychotic disorders like schizophrenia, it is also called splitting of the mind. The mind doesn't know how to organize, look at things in a very organized way. Disorganized, everything is disorganized. Depression, again, it is there in neurosis also, but there is something called clinical depression also. So what is clinical depression? Something who need to be admitted and given tablets, only then they can come out of it. I know a person, who was admitted in hospital. He got married and his wife left him like 3 months after his marriage. He was 31-year-old IT guy. uh, he was not able to understand that it is okay, we can still work on this, or he can move on. He was not able to go to work. Slowly he started isolated himself from the outside world. And he didn't know how to take bath. He was just sleeping all the time. So self-care was gone. His mom has to come tell. See, self-care is what we, as soon as we get up, we know to go brush our teeth, take bath. We know whether we need to take one more bath in the evening after coming out from play. So we know everything. So slowly this mind would not work on all the minute details. The parents would come, or the caretakers would come and say, go take bath, go take bath, go. Every day they have to tell. So slowly it happened, and he will not eat because they don't want to live. They don't want to be happy by eating. Happiness gives you energy. They don't want to eat. So slowly they isolate, and then he was admitted in the hospital. He had to be given tablets first to, ease his mood, bring his mood up, and then we had to start counseling for him. So psychosis is something that can be because of chemical imbalance, genetic, biological, uh, genetic or biological, or social also. All right. And if it is not taken care, if people are not given that importance for a longer term, then it becomes psychosis. Like I said, anxiety can be handled through counseling, but if it's still persisting for more than 6 months, then tablets would also help them. Right.
Thank you, ma'am. And
Madam,
oh yeah,
I
sorry.
have one question, Siddhi.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm Anil Vartak
Yes.
from
Yes, sir.
Schizophrenia Awareness Association. I have
Mm-hmm.
one question that how accurate psychiatrists can be in diagnosing the particular category and particular specific illness. And secondly, very often psychiatrist doesn't tell the diagnosis for a long time. Means for 1 year, 2 years also, some of the patients I know, the psychiatrist has not given the diagnosis. So can you
Okay.
put more light on this?
Again, it depends on individual psychiatrist, whoever, they're whoever doing this. It must be because of two reasons. Number one, because they feel or they understand that they think that the caretakers, the patient's caretakers doesn't understand even if he explains. So it's better just to give tablets like how you give tablets for medicines. I'm not sure about this. Secondly, how accurate a psychiatrist, see, sir, that's why even in every, see, symptoms are almost the same for all psychotic diseases. It can be like, it would look like, dementia can be like delirium. So you cannot give a dementia tablet to a person who is confused just because he is drunk, right? So that's why they always put a triangle with a question mark. This is the diagnosis for now. Once for a short time, when the person starts taking the tablet, after that we will see how he is going along, how his progressiveness is. Later, they will always change the tablets in the next meeting. So it is not about accurate, though we know. See, that's why we always use this ICD book and DSM book, right? At least in India, it's ICD 10, now 11. So if the symptoms are according to the ICD-10 book, if say for schizophrenia, if it's from F30 to F39, if the symptoms are, accordingly to that, then that's the tablets they would definitely prescribe. I don't think there is no such thing called accurate thing, because it can change. One day a person is depressed, 4 days later he's already in a maniac state because of the mood disorder. So the tablets are given accordingly. We cannot just fix, no, today he was depressed, next 3 months he should only take depression, antidepressants. No, it's not like that. So, and secondly, I'm not sure about the second question. Maybe because not everybody are aware of the terms, the medical terms, so they wouldn't be telling them. I'm not sure about that, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, can I ask you something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, what are the initial symptoms for this or disorder, personality disorder?
Okay, so I will. Personality disorder doesn't have any symptoms. Personality. There are 11 types of personalities according to ICD-10. All right, and worldwide there are 11 types of personalities. I'll just tell the names of the personalities. Later, I will explain one personality so you will understand how other personalities. All these 11 personalities, we all have these 11 personalities. All right. The first one is paranoid personality. Second one is schizoid personality. Third one is schizotypal. Fourth one is borderline personality. Fifth one is histrionic personality. Sixth one is narcissistic personality. Seventh one is avoidant personality. Eighth one is dependent personality. Ninth one is obsessive compulsive personality.
Obsessive compulsive.
10th one is passive aggressive personality. 11th one is I missed something, the fourth one, antisocial. Did I say antisocial?
Antisocial,
Right. Antisocial. Yeah, got it. So there are 11%. We all have this. See, though the college bell rings, okay, at 8:30 and you're already late, then you can either ask excuse or you can just bunk. Okay. And 2 minutes you can reach college or you can bunk. You decide to bunk. And that is an antisocial behavior, right? I mean, you just want to bunk. What big deal? Yeah? So there are a lot of, we all have that within. What comes out, certain people would focus only on that. They always boast about themselves. They don't care about others' emotions or feelings or what others talk. Say, for example, there's a friend of mine who's sitting here and she's talking about Paris. Hey, you know what? I went to Paris last week. She's so excited talking about what happened in Paris. Immediately, I cut short her and say, hey, Paris, I had been to Paris. I met so many people. So I'm not letting her speak about what her feelings or what she have gone through. There is already a boasting happening within myself. There is a slight narcissistic nature within me. Then there is a husband and wife, and the husband brings in some friends inside the house. The wife comes and gives some coffee to the husband's friend. After the husband's friends leave the place, the husband says, oh, I think you like the guy who was without the mustache. She was just smiling at him and giving him coffee. Slight paranoid person. So it is always there. How much you try to work on not, bringing that, for all the time, if you're going to be paranoid, who would be your friend? If you're always going to boast about what I had done, what I had achieved in life, who's going to talk to you? Who wants to sit and listen all the time? Then you become dysfunctional at one point of time. Now you understand personality disorder is like the dysfunctional thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is from the womb, from the time you are in the womb, what your mom thinks or what the immediate people around her talk, all that gets into it. That's why they say, as soon as the baby is born, till 1.5 years, it has to be. I don't usually use it have to be. It has to be with the mom. It cannot go to the grandparents. It cannot go to the caretaker, someone who comes from outside. Because only how they want the child. If they are very submissive, no, the child also will become submissive. Later, you cannot say the parents are very strong and confident. The child is always submissive. Why is that? You can't blame or question the child. So, what kind of ambience you give, what kind of thought process you have, what kind of behavior you show to the outside world, the child gets that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Ma.
I'm Pooja Shinde from SP College and intern of SA. And I
Okay.
have a question. Like
Mhm.
when we are sad
Mhm.
for 2-3 days, and
Mhm.
around us, like in our family, so usually when somebody is laughing too much and somebody is very smiling a lot, so
Mhm.
usually we get irritated with that person. And
Mhm.
what the general thought is, if we are sad, I want everybody to be sad with me. So why is
Mhm.
that?
Okay. See,
So
there is two ways to look at it. If I am sad, I want everybody to be sad. That is an individual's perception. Not everybody would want that. If I am sad, there are people who would say, I want to be alone. Please leave me alone for some time. There are people who will say, I am sad, let's go out. So that's individual's perception. But then every individual have a different way of looking at coping with their sadness, right? Uh, I would suggest, or something that I would practice, I practice all the time, or I help my clients to practice is when you are sad, be in that sadness. See what are the incidents or talks or that is triggering you more when you're sad. Later, I am sad because of what? How important is that in my life? Already that is giving me sadness. Will that give me sadness again if it comes into my life? What is that I want? Start prioritizing yourself. Slowly, see, it doesn't happen in a day's time. It will take like 2 months, 2 weeks, depending on your resilience power, right? For me and all, my resilience power, it will take at least hardly 2-3 months. And I'm okay with that. I would be sad. I would not sleep in any. Some nights I don't sleep. That's fine, because I'm acknowledging it. I know I am sad. It's okay. I am going to come out of it. I'm going to be very happy and grow. That is what my mind would keep saying. But then something that made me sad, is it worth it? Is it worth thinking about it? There are students who come to me saying, "Ma'am, I couldn't clear my arrear paper." All right, so there is always another semester, but all my friends cleared. Now I'm sad. How will I face them? All right. So just because you're not able to face them, you don't want to go to class. No, I don't want to go to class. I want to change college. See, there are people who even want to take immediate drastic changes and steps. I say they don't want to face failure. So this is the core. So where are the other ways where she had seen failure and she has still taken a step? I'll try to understand that, help her see that she has already taken a lot of steps when there is a failure or when she has gone down. So slowly we talk about it, help them understand they are more potential in coming out. Even if others are happy, no, I will be able to be happy along with them. Though I have some sadness, I know how to process it in a in another way, and slowly you'll arrive at it. It's just an individual way of thinking it. Yeah.
thank you, ma'am.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Any other questions?
Yes, I had another question. That for like in our day-to-day life, also forgetting or confusion about day and date. These all
Mm.
things are pretty common. Like especially in the pandemic, every day was like similar. So when somebody asked that what is today's date, it became like confusion for a moment. So
Yeah.
in case of delirium, how can we differ these two cases? That if it is a illness or it is just a normal confusion?
See, again, it depends whether the person is on alcohol or, delirium is not for everybody. It is only for people who are with a lot of medications, who take a lot of medications often, or who are in with alcohol addiction, who are into alcohol addiction, right? So if somebody is coming and asking you as a person, if somebody is coming and asking you and you are just confused with telling the dates, and telling the dates, we are all preoccupied in the pandemic. We need to understand that, and it is okay to take pause and then tell them the answer. There is no hurry in anybody's life. If that person is in a hurry, that is not our problem. We are all preoccupied. What if I get affected? What if my family members get affected? What if my dad loses his job? There are a lot of things running in this pandemic. We cannot always expect our mind to be like. No, we can expect our mind, but then it is not mandatory that our mind have to be happy all the time. So during these kind of when these preoccupied thoughts are there, it is hard for us to immediately, reply or answer to many people, and that is fine, right? Don't confuse. See, whatever I told you, now we all would be thinking, oh my God, I have little of this, I have little of that. That is okay. We all have everything because we all have a mind. So we are all healthy. We need to think we are all healthy. Okay. So don't think, okay, this ma'am told, so maybe I would have this. This ma'am told, so maybe I would have this. No. We all have a healthy mind. Just smile now and tell I have a healthy mind. That is more than enough for you to affirm every day. Okay?
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, can I ask you something again?
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, there is a situation where a person I know, he lost his loved one nearly maybe 20 years ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
So is it possible that he remains in that trauma, or he doesn't accept that that his loved one is no more? And is it a part of mental illness?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it. See, he's not able to process. Okay, and in our society, in India, mostly, even when I had gone through a lot, people advise. They say it's okay, come out. It's okay, come out. There must be some unfinished business. He wouldn't have told a proper goodbye to that person. He would want to share a lot of things which he couldn't share. So all those are running in his mind. I don't know. I mean, maybe there are a lot of possibilities, probabilities I'm talking about. And now, 20 years, if the person still remembers that the person who got, who he lost, that is fine. But if any emotions that is bothering him, like every time when he thinks about them and if he's crying, every time if he's thinking about him and if he's having any behavioral issues like not eating or just rash driving, something like that, then that is something he can go to a therapist or a counselor. He can talk about this and he can work on this. It is always workable, this kind of scenarios. Yeah. Some unfinished business, maybe angry that that person left him unexpectedly at a very young age. He won't be knowing that it is anger that is inside him. He must be thinking it is sadness, but deep down, why is that sadness? Because that person left me. If somebody leaves you just like that, will you be sad? But slowly you'll be also angry inside within yourself, right? What mistake did I do? Why did you leave me? That angry will be there, anger, right?
Yes.
So it is always solvable, this kind of issues. Guys, I just want to tell you all one thing. In this world, there is no such thing called this doesn't have a solution. Everything has a solution. So any point, even if you have a family member who is a mentally ill patient, even if you know someone or your close circle who has some kind of mental illness, it's still fine. Only this personality disorder, if it hurts you, then I would say draw your boundaries clearly and stay away. Okay. Anything else?
Yes, ma'am. Can I ask you a question?
Please.
Yeah, so I have seen a lot of people just procrastinating because they think that however they work or how much endeavor they put into some work, they'll get failed, like they won't get success. So what should these type of people do?
I didn't get you the question. Can you repeat again, please?
Yeah. So I was like, there are some people who procrastinate on doing things just because they think that the hard work wouldn't give them the benefits.
Mhm.
What should these people do?
That can be see, you need to sit and really talk to them to understand what is making them procrastinate. Maybe they are overconfident in doing things at the last minute. Okay, yeah, but then as far as it is not affecting them, it is not affecting the other parties. Okay, see, now this program I could have started preparing last week. I prepared today morning and I'm still fine. So and because if I prepare today morning, if I was not able to collect all the notes, or if I were not able to collect all the notes in my mind, then I'm also affecting the whole group. So if the procrastination which I'm doing to myself, in doing things, if it's affecting me as well as the group, then I need to work on it. Morning I did, and I'm able to convey, and I'm confident about it, then I think that shouldn't be a problem. But if the procrastination is, giving them bad names, not letting them work in any place, then they need to really go for some counseling, talk to someone. Guys, counseling is not advising, it is just accompanying. Someone would accompany you to understand you. And once you are understood, half your problems are solved and your healing takes place.
Thank you.
Welcome.